This call is being recorded.
Hey, welcome everyone. Thank you for being on this call. This is Joseph Varghese here, and as you may have heard, a few of us just now, we're just closing out a call earlier. This is one of our mastermind calls we have each week. We actually have we have several calls throughout the week. We have about 4 pivot calls and 3 bragging calls on weekends, and this is kind of a well-designed program. This is actually our 8th mastermind we're completing as of next week. And PeerMomentum is a 90-day program. We actually started last year, and it's one of the best things that ever happened to me. So a little backstory with all of this. Last year, my wife, we were a few months away from delivering our daughter, and our lives got busier. And just having this background in accountability, I just knew that I needed to have a better system for myself to even be more accountable myself as an entrepreneur. So I invited several of my friends into a small community. Michael and Tom, you were on this call. You were amongst that first group that started way back when, about 2 years ago. And since then, every 90 days, we've launched a new group, improving on the previous group. And we've also asked people to essentially we made it into a game for 90 days. And at the end of the game, end of the 90 days, some people left, some people got voted in, and we moved into the next mastermind. And my background, what I love doing is I build frameworks, accountability frameworks. I've been doing that for 11 years. I'm also an engineer by trade, and I left the engineering world about 15 years ago to discover my purpose in life, which is about really helping people, helping others reach their dreams. And how I do that is by building accountability frameworks. So some of you may have heard about this experience. It's called around through the New York Power Team. The New York Power Team is the largest monthly personal development leadership community in New York City, and I'm grateful that I'm one of the co-organizers for that community. Myself and my buddy Frank Clark, we organize it together. It's great. Before our Power Team meeting exactly 11 years ago, tomorrow, December 22nd, a bunch of us got together. We attended an event called Date with Destiny, and we came out of that event and we met at a cafe called Cosi in New York City, and we asked ourselves, how do we just paid for this $6,000 event. How do we now hold ourselves accountable to the purpose and the values that we clarified at this event? And everyone looked at me from my background with systems and like, well, Joseph, you're kind of a leader here, so what can you put together to hold us accountable? And I started tinkering with some ideas, and what I figured is that every game in the world has a huddle. You could play baseball, basketball, football, soccer, any game out there's a huddle. What if we each huddled up, paired up together to have daily calls, and we would focus on certain power questions in these calls, share our why, our purpose in life, and let's see how that works. And it worked so well that over the course of months, years, as we would check in, we'd meet every few months, we would be astounded by how close we were to our goals, how aligned we were to our purpose, our why in life. And personally, for myself, it's allowed me to reach a lot of my own dreams, including meeting my wife a few years ago, and just investments, and just really balancing the wheel of life. This process is not about just finances. A lot of our members come forward to have a breakthrough in their finances as entrepreneurs. It's really about bringing balance to the entire wheel of life. It might be comparable to coaching. So if you ever had a coach back in 2000, a little bit more backstory about me. I'm going to go a little personal here. So going way back now. So going back 42 years ago, I was born in New York. My parents had a challenging time when they first moved to New York City as far as building a lifestyle here. They both worked full time, and taking care of a child was a very challenging thing back then. Back in the 70s, or house got robbed in the 70s, and a number of things happened where they felt that it was very unsafe to work full time and raise a child. So my dad, being who he is and being as brilliant as he is, he sent me to India when I was 5 months old, and I lived with all his siblings and his grandparents and his parents for the next year and a half. And they just loved me. On this farm in South India, they just loved me every day. They took care of me. They provided for me, and for a year and a half, I was there in this farm country. And when I was 2 years old, I came back to the States, and my dad, inspired as he was that his siblings would do this for me, and he also had a vision too. Back home in farm country in Kerala, India, a lot of poverty, a lot of challenges, a lot of his siblings. were challenged. And oftentimes my mom, too, in the farm country she grew up in, a lot of her siblings didn't make it because of just the conditions that are out there. So he made it a point to bring his family to this country. And year after year growing up, I got to see a different uncle or aunt come to this country. My dad has 9 other siblings. My joint uncle was my first uncle that came to our house when I was about 3 years old. And then every year afterwards, what happened is that my dad and his siblings would crowdsource the next sibling to come to this country. And that person would move out of our home. They would live in our home initially. They'd move out of our home. They'd get married. They'd get they'd get a job, and then they'd work to bring the next sibling to this country. And to this day, we probably have upwards of about 2,000 or 3,000 members of our family extended in this country out of this process, just working together as a team to bring the next person to this country. And it's something I grew up with and something that I loved because I had many parents growing up. It wasn't just my parents who were busy at working. My mom was a nurse. My dad was an engineer. It wasn't just that. I had other parents and loved ones all around me for Christmas and Easter, holidays, and to this day, every month my family gets together. So I made it a point after 9/11, 2001. I made it a point to bring that to every community that I've been involved with. And back in 2003, I started a nonprofit called Metrofly. We would adopt a charity each month in New York City, throw a giant party for them, kind of following that crowdsourcing model, really coming together to celebrate and support each other. I learned a lot about event planning out of running that organization for 2 years. And then 2004, my dad passed away. It was one of the most challenging experiences in my entire life when I was 30 years old. And what happened at that point is that the following week after he passed away, we went to India to bring his body to his home, where we had a wake and a funeral nearby, and thousands of people from the villages nearby came to pay their respects because my dad's father was a teacher, and teachers are very well respected in that area. And I was just so inspired by seeing this whole phenomenon of people just coming together to help to pay their respects from this culture that I've been very privileged to have grown up in. And the truth is, living in New York, you don't always see that. After 9/11 happened, for a short amount of time, for a few months, you could see people looking each other in the eyes and wanting to help each other. Then what happens is the distractions of life, the busyness comes back in, and people forget about that. People really forget about connecting at that deep level. So I've made it a point in my life to do that, to provide that to others. And how I do that here, it's simply about building accountability frameworks, really helping people, helping entrepreneurs, helping leaders, helping business owners, helping job seekers also find ways to better focus and get better results. And the reason why I did that is because it came out of from myself, a means of survival. In 2004, after my dad passed away, I soon moved to Bayside, Queens, to a home we had over there, and it was just me living in a bare apartment for about a year. And what happened is the peer group I had around me before that point, they were no longer around me here. I was living in New Jersey, and my new peer group around me just didn't exist. And fortunately, I started going to power team meetings, and I started meeting people who were very involved with leadership and growth and moving forward, and it excited me. It really excited me. And that slowly became like my family. Once a month, we'd kind of connect together. And as I started delving further into entrepreneurship, I realized that I really needed to stay focused on a day-to-day basis. And that's where the concept of success circles came aboard in 2005. In 2005, that summer, I was working with 5 coaches, investing upwards of about $1,500 per month to get coaching in different areas of life, from business to my career. I had a health coach, I had a relationship coach, I was working with a counselor to work with my issues with my dad who passed away, and it was expensive. It was costing me about $1,500 a month, and I knew that this process was not sustainable. So when Success Circles came in, it became more. It was a daily process. There was more cohesion. There was more daily continuity involved when you put it together in 2005. And it's shifted my life on many levels. Being able to huddle up each morning with someone who is 2 steps ahead of me in an area of life that I'm looking to work on. And it's also given me the ability to contribute to others too. And every day, every night when I go to bed, I know that there are hundreds of people that I've contributed to out of this process, building this framework where members share their victories, how they're living courageously, how they're raising their standards, how they're contributing, focusing on their why, and each day realigning themselves to that why on a day-by-day basis, kind of living the compound effect. The whole nature of success circles is how can I be a better person today than I was yesterday? And if you do that day in, day out for the course of months, perhaps years, you might be astounded by how that compounds. By making the small investments each day to be a better person today than I was yesterday. And many of you in this call, I know some of you have known me for years, so some of you have known me for about 11 years in this call, and you can see the transitions that I've made personally. And part of that reason is thanks to you being in my life, kind of holding me to account to be that leader that I am. So at this point, I'm going to open the call to a few shares in this call. If you choose to, some of the members on this call, if you want to share your experience of being either in the mastermind or being in success circles, and I'll go further into what differences are between both of them very soon. So if anyone wants to share, I know we have a few members in this call. If you want to share your experience for the past few months or the past year or the past couple of weeks, if you want to, of the mastermind, you're welcome to share. We'll give you a couple minutes to share.
Hi, Joe. It's Michael. I'll share. This is Michael Redmond. I have been with the group since we started. I was also in Joe and I had a mastermind group many years ago. After Peak Potentials, we started a marketing mastermind group, and I found it really helpful. And then neither one of us had started. It was kind of a group that went together, and because it wasn't organized, it sort of fell apart. And this group, I knew that was going to be powerful. I'd worked with Joe before on that and got great results, and he's been a great personal friend over the years also. But it's done a lot for me. In the last 2 years, I went from having this probably sounds very strange, but I had a very thriving company for 12 years that I've owned and managed and was in business continuity and disaster recovery and very strong in both aspects of it. And I had just decided 2 years ago to really move more into the cybersecurity arena and to move more into the governance side. And when I started the group, my goal was to become really well known in the industry and really well educated in the industry. And since I've been with the group, I have gotten 7 ISO certifications in the field, and I feel that the group has been a real push on that. I've had many magazines, articles published on cybersecurity. My latest one was yesterday, a headliner in a magazine, and I have been invited to speak at many conferences, and I've traveled and trained on cybersecurity in Canada and other locations in the country, and I feel that, this is although I had always touched on it, I decided to make it the priority in my life 2 years ago, and this group has really helped me achieve that. I even took a position, I've done so many audit classes in these fields, so I took a position at a severe pay cut from what I was making in my regular company in order to be able to hone those skills and practice them, and that was with the huge decision, and the group actually gave me the support, and no one's, said, are you sure you want to cut your money by 2/3, and just talked about, okay, how do we change your lifestyle? What has to change in order for you to achieve this? How long do you want to be giving up that goals? What kind of a commitment are you making? Is this the right thing for you? And a lot of questions that helped me decide that, this, even though it didn't make sense to my friends when I told them I'm giving up my lifestyle and everything else because I really want to concentrate on this. And, I've done a lot of Tony Robbins work in the past. I've been a platinum partner while I owned my company. And I've been very blessed. I've traveled all over the world since I've owned the company in the last 12 years. And even though I've done the pay cuts and such, with the group figuring out ways to do this, I've been able to get scholarships for courses around the world that have been cheaper than if I took them in the U.S. And so I've been taking classes since I started with the group. I've been doing, went on vacation to Israel, took a study vacation to Sweden, and I'm going to Portugal in a few weeks, and I've been in Nice, France, and the group helped me decide how can I do this. This is after I took my pay cut. How do I do this? And they helped me figure out how to get teaching positions that would allow me to get scholarships to be able to apply for this and work with that. So I don't want to go on and on and on, but this has all become not because of what I am, but because of the support from the group. And I think that's really made my lifestyle really, really great. And I'm looking forward to going to Portugal for New Year's and taking 2 classes over there. From having taken Tony Robbins in the past, my priorities in life are loving connection, growth is a key thing for me, and variety. So I have to have travel, I have to have the growth, and I have to have the loving connection. And was missing the loving connection in having my own firm and being here in a small company with all the Christmas parties and the holidays and the bagel clubs on Friday has given me the loving connection. So it really changed my life, and it was worth giving up 2/3 of my salary. So I want to thank you, Joe, for everything. That my life is, as Tony Robbins say, life will never be the same. So thank you so very, very much. And I highly recommend this group to everyone, and I hope that you'll come. And the main thing in summary is not only do we say what we need, we give. Everyone talks about what problems they're having, what concerns they're having, how they feel, and we all give advice on not expert advice, but how did we deal with it as an individual learning? What were our mistakes? And by hearing other people's mistakes that I don't have to make and sharing my mistakes that other people don't have to make in itself has made the group powerful. Joe, I do need to go, but I wanted to wish you the best, and I hope that everybody on the call decides to make this their New Year's resolution to have their life be the life they want it to be in 2017 by coming to our group, and I hope that helps everybody.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you so much for being on this call.
Oh, you're welcome.
It's been wonderful knowing you for about 11 years now at this point. 11, actually more.
It's actually more than that.
I believe
I added it up.
I think it's like 14, 15 years at this point. But it
is. It's about 15 years. We made ourselves older all of a sudden. So, okay, love you very, very much, and I wish everybody the best. Bye-bye.
Awesome. Great. And Miss Michael, she's a thought leader in the area of cybersecurity. So it's a really privilege having her in this community. And she has written, I think, about close to a dozen books at this point, upwards of that. And it's really an inspiration having her in this community. And one thing she talked about kind of addresses the whole nature of it. We're within the mastermind for 90 days. We're kind of crowdsourcing each other's success. We know each other's goals on this journey, and we meet in phone calls. In the mastermind, we meet in several calls. We have several calls throughout the week. They're optional calls, but they're about getting feedback and getting laser feedback. So you get to be in the hot seat for about 4 or 5 minutes, followed by feedback. And if you heard the tail end of the call before this, you may have heard a little bit about that. And something also that Michael alluded to is the framework. So with the mastermind, we operate on a certain framework. So what that means is that we inspire people to focus on key things each day and share specifically those key things. And they are victories, courageous actions, unreasonable requests or leverage requests, opportunities, and magic moments. And all that means is that if you're willing to focus on living courageously each day, day in, day out, and willing to share that, perhaps in sharing that, you may inspire someone else to also get out of their own head and take action in their life too. There's just so much noise out there in the world, and what I've learned over the years in studying time management, energy management, it's meant minimizing those distractions and really focusing on the things that move us forward. What we've done in this community is we're encouraging members to share, and as they share on the app we have that we use, it inspires others to also make unreasonable requests themselves. It inspires others to find a magic moment within their day too as well. And it kind of creates a ripple outside of the world of Facebook, where there's just so much noise, and outside of the world where you're just watching television and you're kind of being bombarded by, you're being bombarded by things that may not necessarily serve you and move you forward to live out your why each day. So those are some things that Michael shared about just now. And Michael also recently, she invited Lukas into the mastermind. I think, Lukas, are you still on the line? Would you like to share your experience?
I am. Yes, absolutely. Thanks, Joseph. Well, I just want to say congratulations to whomever now is on this call listening in on bringing this amazing opportunity into your life. Just being on this call and having this opportunity to, speak with Joseph and join this group. And please don't take that lightly when I say that. It's a very, very amazing opportunity. And, one thing I love about this group is you have opportunities to share and receive many different awesome perspectives from a lot of different people who have created many successes in different areas of their life. And you can share different aspects of your life in regards to any adversities or magic moments you've created in your life, goals or dreams, opportunities that you've brought into your life, all outside of judgment and expectation. This group is all about upliftment, and you can really feel that when you come on the calls. You can feel that when you get partnered up with accountability partners. It's really all about upliftment of you. And, I've only been in this group for about 4 months, and the amount of momentum and growth I've seen in my own personal life and different aspects, as well as my business, are just exponential. And it's continuing into 2017. So I'm so grateful for being a part of this group and continuing to be a part of this group into 2017. Investing in this group has been one of the best investments I've ever made in my life. I can say that wholeheartedly and 100%. And the partnerships, not just because of the growth and the momentum I'm seeing in my life, but the partnerships that I've created through this group in a short amount of time are just amazing. So, this group gives you an opportunity to be surrounded by a lot of high-quality folks that have high vibrational energy, and it really, again, is uplifting. I love that word. That word comes to my mind when I think about pure momentum is upliftment and uplifting. So I thank Joseph again every day, and I hope to hear some of you guys, whoever's on this call tonight, in the future.
Awesome, Lukas. Thank you so much, Lukas. And just so everyone knows on this call, I didn't ask any people to stay, to be on this call. We actually had a call before this. We had a pivot mastermind call before this, and during the call. And by the way, I'm leading another call after this call. So if you want to stay on and share your experience, you can do that. So thank you, Lukas, for sharing your experience. And a couple things you mentioned on the call about collaborations. A lot of collaborating within the current mastermind. There are 3 members who are collaborating on one of our members was building skyscrapers in New York City. He left that for an opportunity to be CEO of a company called Flipping NJ, and he's brought on a few other members in his community to help him take on different various roles, publishing a magazine and more. And that's just some of the collaboration that's happens. And Lukas also mentioned he's collaborated with another member. They've been doing Facebook events, like Facebook trainings and things like not training Facebook, but like training on leadership aspects, things of that sort. And he's also partnering with others in his community too. So there's a lot of that going on. We also refer to the business. We have a channel on the app we use for referrals. It's kind of like my goal with that is to build something like BNI, where members continually refer each other business, and as they receive a great referral that converts to business, that they thank the person, and then we track that, and then we reward that person too. So that's something we've been building out over the past 36 months, and excited to really take that to the next level to build in 2017. And then the bonus of being in the mastermind is that you can participate in that for free, basically the PeerMomentum Business Networking Alliance, and I'm really excited about that. So thank you, Lukas, for your share around that. So pretty soon I'll open the doors for feedback, but I want to give others who were on the previous call an opportunity to share a little bit more, because I've asked you to extend your time. You were promising to be on a previous call until 8 o'clock, and I've kind of borrowed your time a little further. So does anybody else want to share your experience, perhaps of the huddle call? So a bonus of being in the mastermind is that you also get success circles for free. The first 2 times we launched the mastermind, we didn't do that. And then one of our members, Giacomo, found value in it. He asked for that. So he joined success circles too. And then after that, we made it a bonus. So everyone in the mastermind has access to a daily buddy for 2 weeks, and then another buddy. And oftentimes, the partners they choose happen to be in the mastermind too. Anybody else like to share their experience of this process?
Yeah, I'll go. This is Mukund. So I've been in, Success Circles for about 4 or 5 years. I initially started out when I was working in Queens in a massage and healing capacity in a little spa. And one of the things that I found was as I continued my entrepreneurial journey, it really helped me to focus and set some certain structures and goals to my day. So it helped me to get clarity on what goals I should choose, what I shouldn't choose. So the daily, buddy calls help me with operational management, like, some of the things that you do every day, what are the challenges you run into, what are the issues that you have to overcome. It helps you to get grounded. It helps you to get clear. And then the biggest thing about, achieving a goal really is prioritization. So this calls really help with prioritization. So every day you're prioritizing. Every minute you're prioritizing. And you're making a commitment to meet those priorities, and you're getting things done. So, just like I guess some wise people say, most planes continuously autocorrect to go from point A to point B. They just don't fly straight away, and that's the kind of process that we need. I mean, we're continuously autocorrecting. We're always going to go off target, so we're always autocorrecting, and finally we get to where we want to go. The second area that is helpful is the tremendous range and accomplishments of people. So some are therapists, some are engineers, some are actors, some are, people come from all kinds of life experiences and walks and from all over the world. And what happens in this call is you get really in-depth feedback into specific domain areas that you wouldn't do otherwise in the weekend huddle call. So the daily calls go intensely into your day-to-day operations. Your weekend calls up that way. And one of the things that I've done in the end of all my 2-week cycles, or a lot of my 2-week cycles, is I set up a strategy for the next 6 months or so. So when I sit down with a buddy and then we sit and strategize, like, what are we doing now? What kind of seeds are we sowing to make that happen 6 months from now? That helps you to once again autocorrect and rectify your boat to go in the right direction. That's it. That's all I'll share. Great community. I've enjoyed the social events, and people are generally nice, good, caring, trustworthy. It's a good place to be. So thank you, Joseph. And I came in here from Tony Robbins. I met Joseph through, doing a lot of Tony Robbins' work, and then I kind of, naturally went towards the power team meetings, but I happened to bump into Joseph, and we bumped into each other at a lot of, self-help and self-improvement events and accountability-related systems events, and I guess it just grew from there. So I think Tony's work is a good foundation for, getting into this work, like, benefiting from it, and understanding the context to which people operate from. Thank you.
Beautiful. Awesome. Thank you, Mukund. And something Mukund said just now also is that like, seminars are great. You can go to a seminar and you get some huge peak experiences. You walk away, and you're like your brain's engaged, and you're in action for 3 or 4 days. You come back, and your environment may not necessarily inspire you to keep things going. For most people, including myself, having gone to hundreds of events over the past 20 years, it's easy to fall short. And what this process does, and the reason I designed this process, is about keeping that engaged every day. It's like having your hour of power in the morning, investing an hour to kind of stay focused or meditating. For me, this is part of my hour of power, having a 20, 30-minute huddle call in the morning, because that's my mind straight, gets me focused in gratitude. I have a clear intention for my day. We all have an internal GPS system within ourselves, and within that internal GPS system, if you're able to clarify your why, your purpose for life, and each day realign yourself to that why by making small course corrections, like as Mukund mentioned before, you will eventually reach there. For some of us, it might take weeks. Some of us, it might take months. Some of us, it might take years. But without a system like this, it's so easy with the amount of distractions out there in the world to just fall short of it completely. And I've seen, I've had thousands of friends throughout different, these communities over the years who just don't have this process, who aren't investing in coaching and so forth, and it just becomes a memory, like a really good, solid memory, but it's nevertheless a memory without really any actionable steps forward to actually reach the goals and dreams that each of us have in life. So that's what this process is about. I designed it for myself, and it's been a privilege to be able to share it with others like Mukund, and to provide each other feedback to reach each other's dreams, and it's really a lot of fun too. So thank you, Mukund, for your share. Really appreciate that. Would anybody else like to share your experience? I know Jordan, go for it.
Yes. Hi. Thank you. Hi, my name is Jordan. I've been with this group this is my first full 90-day cycle. So I've only been with everyone for about 2.5 months, almost 3 months. And before, I actually had got approached a few months prior, like maybe 6 months ago, to get involved, and I wasn't able to at the time. And I made sure that I had the focus and the financials that I could do this. And honestly, it's completely changed my life. For me, I have my own marketing and production firm, and I'm also an actress. So running my own business, it's hard finding somebody who going to hold you accountable that isn't like a peer or something like that. And I was recommended to by one of my colleagues that I work with frequently, Tom Martin. And it's actually been really wonderful to kind of have a group of peers to just check in with who've also become mentors and friends and collaborators. And it's allowed me to kind of have a nice mature look at my business. It's given me the confidence to not be so scattered, because sometimes I feel that I personally do so much at once, or I can't really stay focused because I feel so pressured sometimes having to control so many different departments, running my own business, that I don't have anyone kind of checking in with me. And the great thing about the partnerships is that, and you're having an accountability buddy, is that person, the third party, doesn't have anything except your pure thoughts in mind, and is a great person to kind of be like Lukas has been my buddy. He just spoke previously, and he was saying to me how, like, one week I was really missing out on, like, my health, like being more active because I was worried about business. And he questioned me. He's like, well, you said health is more important. Are you willing to sacrifice your health for your finances? And that really shocked me, but it was just the shock that I needed, that I felt that I wasn't going to get anywhere else. It's really helped me. And I just been able to grow from this. I've been able to kind of weed out the noise. I think that's the best way, is because you're here, you get to connect. There's so many different calls throughout the week. You get to ask questions. You're not afraid to ask questions. Everyone is willing to help. It's nice to have a community like that, because you don't really get it anywhere else, or at least I haven't found it anywhere else in my immediate circles. So it's just been a really wonderful way for me to grow as a person, and has been able to make me grow as a business. And I'm just forever grateful for it. I keep connecting to new people all the time because of this program.
Awesome. Thank you, Jordan. I really appreciate your sharing. And Tom's also on this call too, and I'll ask him to share in a moment. Thanks for being on the call, both of you. I really appreciate that. So I think it's something Jordan mentioned a little while ago. So with the huddle calls, as well as with the mastermind, it's all based on, like, where focus and intention go, energy flows. So if you're focusing on living a great life, you're focusing on your why, if you're focusing on asking yourself quality questions on a day-to-day basis, you will have a quality life. That's the core of how this whole process works, right? So, I mean, previously to all of this, I was part of different men's groups, and we'd meet in person, and we'd ask each other, like, really deep questions and things of that sort. And it was great. It was like a three-hour excursion into New York, where I live, where week after week we'd meet and we'd ask each other these deepening questions. And it's good. So whether it's working with a coach or going to a meeting of that sort, there's value in it. And what I found is having greater consistency on a day-to-day basis, there's even greater value in it. And with the way Success Circles is designed, you can either have calls either 5 days a week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, or 3 days a week if you choose to. And within like a 20, 30-minute huddle call, you can get a lot done by keeping the shares laser, and also focusing on asking each other these quality questions. So that's a bit of what Jordan shared. And we live in the age of distraction, and there's just so much noise in the world. And every 6 months, that amount of noise just doubles. So, and that will just continue changing and shifting, as time moves forward. So here's an opportunity to kind of create your own community where you can kind of declare your goals, your dreams, and have a whole community of people, 30-some people holding you accountable to it, referring your business, kind of inspiring you that you be your best, kind of cheering you on, and also giving you laser feedback, around the challenges you're experiencing. And that's what this process is about. And I'm grateful for it, because it's changed my life in every way. After the second mastermind group that we led last year, it was launched about 2 days before my daughter was born, and it was just perfect timing, because with my daughter Jasmine, she came into the world, and my wife's a physician. Every hour we'd have to be there to take care of our daughter, and with life just got very busy, and I had this structure for fulfilling on my goals for those 3 months, to serve others and also take care of my family, to be the best I can be. And part of the calls, like I mentioned, Hour of Power in the morning, part of the calls, it gives me an opportunity to kind of clarify my thoughts, to focus on the 3 things that will move me forward for that given day, to clarify an intention that I can laser focus throughout the entire day. And for me, that's the most impactful thing that I can do in my days, having this call, because it really sets the context for my entire day, my week, and I'm sure a lot of I know and all our members also experience that too as well from the feedback we do. Part of being an engineer, what I enjoy with this process is helping people track their goals. So we send out surveys at the end of each week. A lot of this process is gamified, so we ask members just to declare 5 goals at the start of the week. Basically at the start of the next week, we put up a scoreboard of who got the most points, and it's just really exciting to see people make major strides toward their goals and their dreams throughout this process. And I can give you some examples too of others who've gone through this journey with me over the past couple of years or even 10 years with Success Circles. But, well, Tom, I know you're on this call too as well. Would you like to share your experience? I really appreciate you staying after the last call to be here too as well. Are you available to share? Tom, you might be muted out here.
Yes. Yes.
Go for it, Tom.
Sorry about that. Yeah, great. Yeah, no, it's wonderful.
And Tom, please share who you are too, like what you do as well. Also, I'm sure people would love to hear about that too as well.
Sure, absolutely. I'm Jordan's friend, Tom Martin, and Joseph's friend of all participants in our group here, wonderful group here. I'm a former television news producer who did a lot of work over the years with Diane Sawyer and Charlie Rose and some other people like that. And about 10 years ago, made the move from television news into public relations. And so these days I'm doing a lot of work with authors and speakers in the field of personal empowerment and that kind of thing. And it's interesting, I've been listening to the conversation for the past 40 minutes or so and enjoyed being part of our group call earlier, of course. But I noticed one of the words that our friend Michael Redmond mentioned was variety, and I'm the kind of person who loves variety, and that set me up beautifully to be a television news producer because I was focusing on a different topic, a different story, a different person, profiling a person, interviewing them, writing a story about them, just about every day, shifting gears constantly. And then when I decided to go, I worked for a couple of large PR firms, and so again, that was part of a team, part of a corporate structure, sort of like the news business. But then at one point, I decided to go into business for myself. So for about 10 years now, I've been a solopreneur, which can be very solitary and isolated in many ways. I love the freedom of it, no question about that. And I'm enjoying success with it all, but at the same time, it can be very isolated in many ways. And so having access to our group calls, our mastermind calls several times during the week, I participate in many of them every week, and really been able to forge bonds with people, who we meet on the calls. And as I was saying earlier, on our earlier group call, it was wonderful being part of the holiday party that Joseph and Frank Clark from the New York Power team put together because, I just really feel bonded to these people and feels like a family. And also, being a person who loves variety, it's very easy to be overwhelmed. There's so many books out there, so many different seminar leaders and motivational speakers and personal development experts and so on, and it's all great. And to some degree, there's no best one or right one or anything like that. But it can be, if you're the kind of person like me who's very interested in material like that, it can be very overwhelming sometimes. Like, well, I could spend all day and just be lost in all of this content and not really move ahead with growing my own career, building my business, spending time with my family, and so on. And so, like I said, Michael mentioned the word variety, and Joseph shortly after that mentioned the word frameworks. And so what has really helped me, not just the wonderful quality of the people who are in this group, who I feel really inspired by and, just really feel powerfully connected to them, sharing on their success and, their breakthroughs and their victories. And we're here for one another during more challenging times as well. But having frameworks in terms of the daily calls and, a morning accountability buddy has really made me super productive, and it's also sort of taken me out of my own head because being a solopreneur, it has been very easy for me to be anxious or worried or stressed about income flow or if one client leaves, how do you find the next one, and so on, the things that we, so many of us go through. And being part of this group has really helped me get out of my own head so that I'm very productive, very busy, very happy, very successful. And also one of my claims to fame, you might say, is that a little over 2 years ago, I made a resolution to myself to run every single day, not necessarily a long distance or anything like that, but to not let a single day pass where I don't run, at least a mile. And today, for example, is day 752 in a row of my running routine. And being part of this group has really helped me stay on track with that, because we, look at the week ahead of us. We write down our 5 major goals. We ask one another, how are you doing with that? Can I support you in any way? Here's an idea, about time management or about relationships or about finances that worked for me in the past, and, maybe it'll work for you. And here's a great book that speaks perfectly to what you're, dealing with right now, and things like that. It's just incredibly powerful. And so I look at my running as sort of a metaphor, not just, not just for fitness and energy, which it does give me, but for what's possible with daily consistent action. And sort of, our group, whether it's the group calls or the daily accountability call, an accountability buddy gives me that framework, and it really is, implements that daily consistent action. So I love everything about it. I've been a member of this for about 2 years, and I've known, like Michael, I've known Joseph for many, many years, and you really just deliver so much value to everybody. We're all just very grateful to be part of this group, and I think that's as Forrest Gump, another great runner, once said. I think that's all I have to say about that.
Awesome, Tom. Congratulations today on day 752. I think one of the great things about this community, you're awesome, Tom. And one of the great things about this community is that we're all cheering each other on. We're all cheerleaders. At the same time, we also push each other to like really be our best. And that's a great part of this community. One of our members ran a marathon recently too, and we kind of inspired him and gave him feedback, and it's been really wonderful to be able to see that. Something else that Tom alluded to before too, that one thing I get value out of this community. I've been to different co-working spaces in the past, and I would travel from my office in Queens to go to New York, and I don't need to do that anymore because I'm able to log into our app and see all the different communities, all the conversations moving forward. And for me, it feels like kind of a virtual co-working space of sorts that I can like turn on and off when I choose to. So I never feel alone. That's one of the benefits. Plus, we have multiple calls throughout the week that many of them that I lead, or one of our other members who is kind of a Chief Yoda leads that call too at times. And it's just an opportunity for each of us to feel connected. And that's one of the great things about this community too as well. So for many of us who are solopreneurs, I believe we get tremendous value out of this process. I know that I do personally. So some things that Tom mentioned before. Great. So let me share a few other things about this community, and then I'll open the call. I know I muted a few of you on this call as well. So this is what I live for. This is what I do full time. I build frameworks for people, for organizations. And throughout the past decade, many people see me as a thought leader in this area of accountability. I'm kind of grateful to have that role. And all accountability, all this process means is that it's about simplifying life and focusing on the things that matter, that move us forward. That's one way of looking at it. And so we build frameworks to really ensure that you meet your goals. And we're continually optimizing, course correcting our frameworks. As an engineer, I get to actually see what's happening in the back end to ensure people are actually getting traction in their lives. And not everyone who comes on board who I speak to gets invited into the mastermind. But actually, I'd say about 40% of people who come on board who interview for this process get accepted. And the reason why is we want to keep the energy strong. We want to ensure that the people who come on board in this community are getting some traction in their business, that you've dealt with the issues that most of us deal with as entrepreneurs as far as sabotaging behavior, perhaps, So we want to ensure that, you've dealt with a lot of those things before coming on board, because as in any mastermind, kind of the weakest link can pull everyone else down. So, and we also want to ensure that you're coachable, that you're open-minded, that you're willing to get feedback from others, and that's a big process, part of this process. I see all of us as leaders, I see all of us as coaches, and I'm continually learning through my life. My wife is one of my greatest coaches, and one of my top accountability parts. My daughter coaches me quite a bit also, in really the nature of just being, for example. So it's really about being open-minded, being willing to receive feedback, and also being willing to try something new. And I know for a lot of people out there, it might be difficult. We might be stuck in our own ways about how things should be. And if you're getting results doing that, then amen to you. It's great. But if you're not getting results, and if there's a certain level of insanity where things are repeating day in, day out, then you may want to try something different. And I would absolutely recommend this process. I can talk about other members. We have another member, Vanessa, in the current mastermind. Her goal is to get her dream job, and she had 2 offers, one from Facebook, one from Deloitte & Touche. She was also at our party this past Monday that we had. Another member, Giacomo, who was also at our party on Monday, his goal, he declared last year at a Christmas party last year, was to get into MIT for his MBA. And out of this process, being on these calls, he was on the wait list. And then some of our members gave him feedback on what to do to get out of the wait list and get accepted. And he took that feedback. He kept following up. He communicated his commitment, his passion toward getting his MBA from MIT, and they accepted him. And really took that feedback from our community to make it happen. He continually comes back to acknowledge, that journey and the value of that feedback. And I can tell you other stories too. Years ago, in 2009, and one of my good friends in Success Circles, her name is Nava Piatka. She had cancer. She had cervical cancer, and I had known Nava for a number of years, and she was in Success Circles for a few years. And then all of us came together as she was dying to help her finish her life quest, which was to complete her book, the book about her father's journey through the Holocaust. And we all came together. One of our members was a graphic artist. Another member was an editor. We all came together to help her realize that goal, and then we helped her get the book published, and it's out there. And that's something that we do. That's something that we've done within Success Circles. Now it's more formalized in the 90-day mastermind that we have here. And for me, it's why I live. It's to really find ways to help others reach their goals. It's basically be a leader amongst leaders. So let me open the call to any questions that many of you have. I also want to say that as an entrepreneur, it's easy. There's just so much resistance out there in the world. There's just so much resistance to do things, to stay focused. And I consider myself as having a PhD in resistance, for that matter. And there's so many things you can do in the morning, whether it be meditation, whether it be exercising, so many things you can do to kind of get your mind in the right state to take certain action. And of everything I've done, the Miracle Morning, Our Power, everything I've done, nothing beats what we do with the huddle call. It really gets you focused, gets you centered, gets you clarifying your 3 activities for your day. You text that to your partner right after the call. You clarify an intention or a theme for your day. Then we offer other things around that to really ensure that you're focusing on your bigger goals for the 3 months that you're in the mastermind. So whether you choose to be part of our mastermind, which begins in January, or Success Circles, which is monthly, it's up to you. Success Circles, every 2 weeks you get a buddy. I mentioned that before. You get to participate in huddle calls. The investment for Success Circles is actually very low. It's $77 per month. And then we also have a coupon for this week, because tomorrow happens to be the 11-year anniversary of Success Circles. 11 years ago we started it. So the coupon for that is called Jumpstart. You can go to successcircles.com and utilize that. And if you want to be in the mastermind, there's an interview process that goes with that. And the website is PeerMomentum.com. That's PEER momentum.com. And please fill out the survey there. And if you have interest in it, let me know. Investment for that is not much more, just a few dollars more than Success Circles costs. And the benefit there is you also get access to a daily buddy as well within Success Circles. So you get 2 things for the price of 1. So for the cost of a cup of coffee daily, or even a cup of tea perhaps daily, you might look at it, you're getting a peer coach and a community of other leaders who are out to see you succeed. So let me open the call to answer any questions that you have. And there are 3 or 4 guests we have in this call. So do any of you have any questions about what you've heard so far from the variety of our members in our current community, or for myself?
Yeah, hey, my name is Rod. How are you?
Good, Rod. Welcome, Rod.
So you did a great job talking about the giving testimonials about the group, but can you explain more about the process and the features and the other details about it?
Yeah, absolutely, Rod. And a lot of it's PeerMomentum. You can read through about a lot of that. So essentially, we have about 7 calls throughout the week. The calls are optional, but we ask you to be on at least 1 call per week. So on weekends, we have bragging calls where you celebrate your week and kind of celebrate your victories, your courageous actions, like all the positive stuff. It's a bragging call. And then during the week, we have several other calls. We call them pivot calls. And you get to be in the hot seat, 4 minutes, 5 minutes on the hot seat, followed by laser feedback from members of the mastermind. And then we have a kind of an online community. You can have it on your desktop and your phone. We have different channels in that community, 1 channel for referrals, another channel for something called the 5 to Thrive. Essentially, it's about living courageously each day. So kind of the more you share the victories you have, as you share those, it will inspire others also to do the same thing as well. Also, it kind of creates this momentous effect. You can call it like a ripple, for example. You drop a pebble in a pond, and like it creates a ripple. It's very, very similar idea, but it's really as you win, we win, essentially. And that's one of our taglines we've used for our communities since the beginning. We have other channels too. We have a channel for resources, and the resourceful channel that we have, anyone who's ever been a member of the mastermind gets access to it for life. And within that community, you put out something that you need feedback on, or a resource around, or tool, and likely you'll have several people responding to you, giving you resources, providing a resource around that. For example, on the call earlier, Lukas, one of our members, asked for a resource around taxes. There's a good chance that others in our community, after hearing that, will post a bunch of resources around that. And that's essentially it. So the mastermind is all about group activity, and our tagline is crowdsource your success. And then success circles, which I started 11 years ago, that's the huddle calls each day, and that's a bonus. And one of the great things being in the mastermind is that as you hear people and connect with people on the calls, you might be inspired to partner up with them. So you have the ability to connect with them before. Every 2 weeks we send out a survey. So this Friday we're sending out a survey, for example, and you can specify who you want to be partnered with. You can also ask them in advance, and they'll be your huddle partner. So what happens out of that is you have a peer coaching call each day. You get to kind of create your day and set your focus for your day. So a lot of it is explained on PeerMomentum.com, like all the benefits and all of that stuff. There are a lot of other things that we're adding.
Sorry, can you the website?
Sure. The website is PeerMomentum.com. PeerMomentum.com is the website.
Okay.
Awesome, and a lot of it's there. We're also adding other features too. Like for the fall season, we created something called Fall Freedom. It's like a community where we're inviting people to release something daily, kind of releasing clutter, following through with a promise. And it's about just clearing all the noise in our head, so we can be more focused on the things that matter in life. So that's something we introduced in the fall season. That we made that free for our mastermind too. So we're always adding other things into the mix. We're evolving it so much to add more value. And then a couple months ago, we launched the PeerMomentum Business Networking Alliance. And what that means is that every week, or going into the new year, we're going to have weekly calls where kind of model after BNI, where members get to visually see each other on Zoom, and they get to kind of refer each other business. And that's something we're putting more attention on in the coming year. So we're adding a lot of new things into the mix, and it's just my goal as kind of being the breakthrough engineer, as a lot of people know me, to find ways to fine-tune things so that our members get more and more value out of the experience. Great question, Rod. Thank you so much.
Great. Thanks for the answer.
You're welcome, Rod. Does anybody else have any questions? Anything else that hasn't been mentioned by myself or some of the other people who shared in this call?
Hey, Joseph, it's Ryan. How's it going?
Ryan, hey, buddy. Great to have you on this call. And Ryan, you were referred by Sarah. who is a member of his community for a while. She's in Success Circle every once in a while. So welcome, Ryan.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Glad to be here. Just a quick question for you, Joseph. So I heard you say that if you're in the mastermind, then you have access to the daily buddy calls as well from Peer Circle. Or Success Circle, sorry. So if you're in the Success Circle, you have the access to the daily accountability calls regardless, and then if you're in the mastermind, you just get both. Is that correct?
Correct, exactly. So a bonus of being in the mastermind is you get access to Success Circles in addition to the mastermind. It's for me, it's one of the best. Not all our members participate in Success Circles. For example, Michael, who shared earlier, she's happy with the mastermind, and some of our members are just happy just being on the group calls, being with their schedule, squeezing in a 20-minute call, 30-minute call in the morning may not fit. But, I think for the ones who do, they get tremendous value out of that experience, having a peer buddy in the morning and being able to share the contextual questions back and forth, grounded in gratitude and intention. So I hope that helps.
Yeah, that makes sense. And, of course, obviously to be in the mastermind, it's by invitation after the interview. As far as the actual cost, you said that the cost difference is very, very minimal between the Success Circles and the mastermind. Is that correct?
Yep. So Success Circle is $77.60 per month. The mastermind, the investment is $95 per month, so it's a little bit more. And then if you pay in advance, so we give you a $10 per month discount. So it comes out to, so it's basically $285 minus $30. So you can kind of figure the math, and I think it's like $255, I think, for 3 months. So it's the cost between both is not really that much if you buy the mastermind all 3 months. And going into the new year, just so you all know, one of my goals, and I declared this on Monday at our party, is I'm launching a 10x group for a 10x mastermind in the new year. So some of our members who are 7-figure earners have asked me to build a community for them. So essentially members who are generating $2 million or above, they want their own community. So one of my goals is to build a 10x mastermind and kind of taking on some of the things I've learned from Success Circles and PeerMomentum over the past few years. So if you are a 7-figure earner, if you want to be part of a community of that sort, just let me know. And I'm happy to have a separate conversation with you. We're hoping to launch that in February.
Okay. And you said that there's a coupon or something for getting started with either of the programs, starting up until tomorrow or something? Exactly.
So with Success Circles, if you want to just participate in that, the coupon is Jumpstart. So if you go to successcircles.com to sign up anywhere if you scroll down, you'll see the button to sign up. Use the coupon Jumpstart. For the mastermind, so Ryan, you and I have talked already, so I'm happy to put you in right away because we've had several conversations already. I think you're the right fit for it. If you go to crowdsource your success, crowdsourceyoursuccess.com, the coupon code there is START, the word START. That'll give you a $30 discount for the entire mastermind. So I'm confident based on the several conversations we've had before, and also you were referred by Sarah that you'd be a great member. But for anyone else in this call, I would ask you to go to PeerMomentum.com and just fill out the survey, and there'll be an option to have a call with me specifically over the next few days, and then from there we'll see if this is the right fit for you.
Awesome.
And you're welcome, Ryan. I'm happy to text you those links too afterwards too, so that it's easier for you.
Please.
Great. Anybody else have questions about anything I said at all?
Hi, Joe. It's Steve here.
Steve, how are you, man?
Hi, how are you doing? I really have no questions. I think you've covered everything. I just wanted to say thanks for your time this evening. And it was really informative hearing everybody sharing their experiences with the community so far. So, I'm getting a big thumbs up over here, and I'll fill out the forms this evening, and I look forward to chatting to you in the next few days or weeks.
Awesome, Steve. And I know you're referred by Nick. And what's really great is when people refer people in this community, it's like it makes things a lot easier because we kind of know we hang around people. We tend to hang around people who are up to great things as well. So one of our members referred his mom, to the community. Actually, Michael referred both of them to the community. So they both joined the mastermind around the same time. But it's just awesome to see that level of just connection happening as community, and that's how this process works. Thank you so much, Dave, for that and for your question. I look forward to having that conversation with you.
Great, thanks.
You're welcome. Great. And anybody else have any questions about this process?
Hey, it's Rod again. I got
Okay.
one more.
Go for it.
How often do you have live events?
So if you live in New York City, the benefit is that you get live events once or twice a month, because I co-organize an Power team, and we often have we have dinners for the mastermind, and so happens I share that with the Power team event community too as well. So essentially, we meet once a month for a meal. Then beyond that, we often have a workshop in New York too as well. Going into January, we're planning on 2 events, maybe even a third event for dinner. If you live, so it's an added bonus here. So as this community grows and as we start kind of licensing, these components out and so forth, likely in your city in the future you'll have local events happening. But if you live in New York or the tri-state area, a benefit is that you get access to us in person, which is pretty cool. Well, on Monday, we had 60 people who showed up at our party, and 20 of them were from Success Circles on the Mastermind. A lot of them had not met in person before, and it was really wonderful to experience that. One thing, too, one of my closest friends, I have never met before. He lives in Washington State, and he was invited to my wedding. He was invited to my wedding about 3.5 years ago. I still haven't met him. He wasn't able to come to our wedding. But just due to the level of feedback that he was able to provide me through some serious challenges, and vice versa too, over the years, in our Success Circles partnership, he became a very close friend. And I've never met him in person. We've done video calls together, but I've never met him in person. And it's amazing what can happen, like the level of authenticity and rawness that can occur out of these calls. And it really comes down to who you're being, of course, being coachable and open, and also comes down to the framework we've set up to encourage people to kind of open up and share their why on a daily basis and to keep refining it. Awesome. Great. Well,
Appreciate it.
So I know that I could talk about this stuff for hours. I could talk about the power of focusing. Like, I've got multitudes of books about this topic, and it is really about engaging that muscle every day, really focusing on the things that matter each day. And a lot of our members too, we all have PhDs in this topic out of being in this process over the years. So you will eventually kind of generate your own PhD in this area of focusing for yourself, and you'll be mentoring others too in this community too as well. So I'm excited about potentially working with you, or perhaps seeing you at one of our future Power Team events, or perhaps in Success Circles. And if you need to reach me at all, my email is joseph@successcircles.com. I'm easily reachable, and I really love what I do. So I hope we get to work together in the near future. Thank you all for being here, and I also appreciate each of you who came to this call to share your experience of the Mastermind too as well. Have an awesome holiday season, and God bless you.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
You too, Joseph.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Joseph. Same to you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.